Okay, let's talk about a feeling we all know way too well, overwhelm. You know, that mental fog where everything feels both urgent and totally impossible at the same time. But what if I told you there's a simple system to cut right through that chaos? Well, that's what we're going to break down today, how to get you from that place of stress to calm, focused clarity.
Let's just start with a question. I want you to think about this for a second. What would it be worth to you to have absolute 100% confidence that what you're working on right now is the single most important thing you could be doing? Just imagine that feeling. That certainty is exactly what we're aiming for.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that overwhelm isn't just in your head. It has a real, measurable impact on your brain. Studies have shown that when we're feeling anxious and stressed out, our cognitive function can plummet to as low as 40% of its normal capacity. So it's no wonder it feels impossible to think clearly. You're literally working with less than half of your brain power.
This state of mental fog, this paralysis, we're going to call it the overwhelm trap. It's that feeling of being completely stuck, you can't make a decision, you can't move forward. And look, it's not some kind of personal failing. It's actually triggered by a surprisingly simple cognitive limit that every single one of us has.
And here it is. This is the core of the problem. Our brains, believe it or not, are basically wired to handle about 3 distinct items. 1, 2, 3. And then, after 3, our brain just kind of short circuits. Everything else gets lumped into this big, blurry, unmanageable category called many. And when your to-do list becomes many, you are officially in the trap.
This analogy just captures the feeling perfectly, doesn't it? Picking up those coins is one massive, daunting task. Clean up this entire mess. But at the exact same time, it's hundreds of tiny little tasks. Pick up this penny, now this time. And both ways of looking at it are completely paralyzing.
So how in the world do we escape? Well, the key is a really powerful cognitive concept called chunking. And it's not about working harder, not at all. It's about grouping information in a way that our brain can actually deal with.
So really, overwhelm is often just a symptom of bad chunking. A task either feels like one giant monster that's too big to fight, or it feels like death by 1,000 cuts. What we need to do is find that sweet spot right in the middle, a few manageable, clear steps.
So let's go back to that floor full of coins. Instead of this huge mess, what if you chunked it by coin type? What if you said, my only job right now is to find all the quarters? All of a sudden, it's not a chore, it's a game, right? Or you could chunk it by location. I'm just going to completely clear this one single floor tile. This gives you permission to ignore everything else. It creates a clear, achievable first step.
All right, now let's get into a system that's designed to do this chunking for your thoughts, for your projects, heck, for your entire life if you need it. It's called the 3-1-3 system, and it's this really light, really adaptable way to make sure you are always working on what truly matters.
The entire system is built on 3 core questions, and the very first one forces you to make a crucial distinction. You have to separate what you can actually influence from all the noise you can't. You know, so much of our stress comes from worrying about things that are completely outside of our control. This first step just eliminates all of that right off the bat.
And now for the magic question. This is the chunking step. This is where we work with our brain's natural limit, not against it. You take everything you decided you can control, and you force yourself to sort it all into just 3 manageable groups. No more, no less, just 3.
And finally, this question forces a decision. Out of those 3 manageable groups, which one matters the most? Right now. Not forever, not for the rest of your life, just for this moment. This is how you find your single point of focus, and you start to build some real momentum.
Okay, so the theory is great, right? But how do you actually do this? Let's dive in and see how you can apply these questions with a practical step-by-step process. We're going to go from that feeling of total chaos to total clarity.
So the process itself is really simple. Step 1, you make a brain cloud. You just dump every single thought swirling around in your head onto a piece of paper. Just getting it out is a huge relief. Step 2, you go through that list and you circle only the things you can actually control. Step 3, you group those circled items into just 3 categories. Step 4, you pick the single most important group for right now. And here's the key. Step 5 is to repeat. You take that one group you chose and you do it again. Break it into 3 smaller chunks and choose the most important one. You just keep repeating that until you have one clear, actionable task.
And this tree, this shows the power of the process just perfectly. This is a real example, by the way. A client started with these huge, overwhelming categories of self, work, and others. But by repeatedly asking, what are the three? What's the one? They drilled all the way down, from work to income to sales and on, until they finally arrived at a single, manageable 45-minute task: learn the specs of low-end vehicles. I mean, that is the journey from overwhelm to action right there. You can just feel the clarity, can't you? The satisfaction of landing on something so specific.
So the whole point, the core of this entire technique, is this simple, repeatable loop. It becomes a mantra that just cuts through all the noise. What are the three groups? What's the one most important? What are the three? What's the one? You just keep asking that until you find your focus.
So now you have the tool, and you can put it to use immediately. But before you do, let's just cover a few quick things that will help you make it work and really find that clarity you're looking for.
You want to be mindful of a few common traps. The biggest one, trying to do this all in your head. Don't. The whole point is to get it out onto paper, to free up all that mental space. Also, try to stick to the exact questions. Focus on the outcome you want, not just the busy work, and be realistic. This is not about becoming a robot who can work for 8 straight hours. It's about making real, focused progress.
You know, a great way to think about this system is like a zoom lens for your mind. When you're lost in all the tiny details, it helps you zoom out to see the big picture categories, like work or self. And when you're paralyzed by that big picture, it helps you zoom all the way into a single concrete task. It gives you total control over your field of focus.
And that's really it. That's the 313 system. It's a method to stop spinning your wheels in overwhelm and start moving forward with clear, focused action. It's a way to quiet all that noise and find your next right step. So that leaves you with just one final question to answer for yourself. Right now, what is the one thing you can do to move forward?